Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hof Bergmann. We're continuing our Brewmaster series here. I got some malt grist, if you remember from a whole week ago. We took some barley down to the mill to convert into malt. We then took our malt over to another mill in order to produce malt grist, and that's where we are right now. We just transported a little bit of malt grist into this silo, and that allows us to continue our brew prep. So let's go ahead and top this off with water. And then we'll get this cooking. Schultz, did you see the X870 boards have been released? And from the few tubers I trust, it sounds like it might not be worth the upgrade. From a 670E board, you're not really getting a whole lot of extra. Okay. As my son says, extra. He likes to put an R in it. So, being the great parent we are, we don't make him change. We just say, "Yep, extra." That's the name of the game. Let me get my spent grains out of here. Some of them are going to be like $500 or more. So I think spent grains can be used as pig food for all things. Get our pigs drunk. That's what we need in life. We need more drunk pigs. I bet you that's how you get really tasteful bacon. We need hops. Oops. That's what we need to do. That's why I needed that flatbed at the farm. I knew I had that set up for a reason. Alright, let's talk about a disturbing trend that I have seen over the last few months. And when I first saw it, it was on a creator that did a we'll just say a survival video. One of the classic starts from near nothing type videos, and it was not terribly done, but that is we'll call it either AI generated thumbnails, or we'll call it very, very artistic thumbnails that in no way represent what the game looks like. And that video had a really, really high view count for this particular creator's size, and just general average views, right? Above and over and beyond what you might normally expect from an average Let's Play video of theirs. So it seemed that either they really hit on something content-wise, or could that artsy artsy thumbnail really have driven in the clicks. And I've seen that trend more and more on other creators. Most recently, some map videos where the thumbnail was like, what? Nothing on that map looks anything like that image. Well, I don't like that trend, and I think it's rather, to be honest, deceitful or deceptive. That's what I should say. Deceptive. Oh my gosh, I made the wrong turn. Deceptive to the viewer, not deceitful. No, deceptive. And I've got a big thing that I do not run custom shaders. Everything you see is exactly what you can expect to see in-game, assuming you have the same visual settings that I set up. I've published those. It's very easy to replicate, assuming you have the hardware that will support it. So I don't run reshade, I don't run anything like that. I don't doctor the thumbnails beyond maybe occasionally toying with the brightness and contrast if it's just a really dark image. Because I'm a firm believer that I want what you see in a thumbnail to be representative of the video that you are going to click into. Call me old school, call me a old or fart, whatever. That's just what I think. And I want to know what your all's thoughts are on this this trend of late of having inaccurate representations of what you're going to see in game in the thumbnail. And when I say inaccurate, I mean there is zero chance that you'll ever reproduce the thumbnail scene or image by simply loading the map or loading the game and playing. So to that end, I'm going to say right here that some of you may know what WYSIWYG means. What you see is what you get. So that's my general philosophy on things, is everything and anything you see on the channel is going to be completely reproducible on your own machine with no custom software or tweaks beyond simply adjusting the graphic settings. Let me get this trailer unloaded and I'll read through the comments. Hops. We need to put some hops in. There we go. So we can put our hops over here. And now we have jugs of yeast. We'll need that in a later stage. Okay. I probably spent in range. Oh, wait, no, that's about the motherboard. What's up, Dirt Bike Gold? Diablo no Toro, what's up? Bucket McPretty, yep. What's WYSIWYG thumbnails? Well, Schultz Tukey, it's been used for years. When folks post pictures on Facebook or other media of certain things, right? Go back and look at certain certain folks' images of, let's say, maps or mods or other things in development. And like the sky is completely unreproducible. Oh, yep. That's definitely cooking. All right. So that is done. Judge shouldn't allow screenshots of custom shaders onto the mod hub. Some of them obviously are. Yeah, I agree. Of course, I didn't actually expect too much different from you guys. You know, it's preaching to the choir, kind of. You wouldn't be regular viewers of the channel if you didn't hold to my own general thoughts. Typically, right? If you disagreed with me all the time, well, you'd go find somebody else. We only watch people we agree with, right? Why would we watch people we disagree with all the time? Leave that up to the Facebook or the YouTube commenters that would rather comment about how terrible Farm Sim is on every Farm Sim news video. They seem to go out of their way to be unhappy. Well, all I can say is just trust me, you won't have that problem here. No artificial thumbnails. These are all straight screen grabs with no HUD. And at most, we're going to adjust the brightness in contrast to make the image a little less dark if it is dark. So what did y'all think of the Asian map? I did a live premiere of the Asian map trailer reveal and breakdown last week because, unlike typical embargoes, the embargo dropped at 9 p.m. my time, which allowed me to actually be able to interact with you all and experience the information reveal in real time. Typically, the embargo drops at 8 a.m. I'm literally on the road going to the office at that point in time. So it isn't until 8:15, 8:30 that I am at the desk and able to do anything. So I was really appreciative. Now, that embargo time was because it was synced up with local Tokyo time, 10 a.m. Thursday morning. With the launch or the start of the Tokyo Game Show. I thought Bosman, I was hearing that somebody was saying that it was a Vietnamese name, but I don't really know anything about Asia other than there's Chinese food and then there's Japanese food, and while they're the same, they're different. And yes, that may have come across completely ignorant, but that I am completely ignorant with the Asian cultures. I don't think we really know if this area or this map is really representing a specific area or just in general the area in general. Oh, Tiki, don't be surprised if you get sick. Yeah, that's what I thought about the signs too. But I can see them making that consolidation for the predominantly. Are you freaking serious? This isn't Wreckfest on Friday nights. I think, you know, given the vast player base, having signage, it'd be nice to those who have seen a native character set used as the primary font, and then in smaller font underneath it, English. That's what I would like to have seen. And remember, we've only seen a portion of the map. So we really don't even know how much of the map we've seen until they reveal the PDA and other things. Assuming we do get more information like we have seen with Riverbend Springs, I do plan on kind of doing a Bhutan Pentai breakdown and analyses like I did with Riverbend Springs, of taking screenshots or videos and trying to pinpoint them down on the PDA as to where they may be, to give us a general idea of where and how much of the map we have seen to date. I mean, Bosman, you could always, by all means, give them that feedback. I will attempt to remember to provide them a summary of that feedback. Basically, that the architecture is East Asian in influence, yet the name implies a South East Asian influence, and typically the architecture and all that is not overly compatible. That's what I'm hearing, right? Let's run up here and get our trailer at the shop. Yeah, I mean, if we go all the way back to the abomination of FS19 with Ravenport, that was supposed to be like California in nature. with, you know, the coast and maybe like the coastal highway, and I don't know what the big dam was to represent, if that was to represent the Hoover Dam or what, but and then we look at Elm Creek. Yeah, that's the name of it, right? If we look at Elm Creek in 22, that was more middle America, we'll say. And then, well, Riverbend Springs is very specific. It's in Arkansas. Because there's a sign that says Department of Transportation, Arkansas. And that's, yeah, I said for a long time, for those that are opponents to Giants putting out maps, is that by Giants putting out base maps, if you don't like the map, that's fine. But you cannot deny that 95% of the assets on mod maps are derived directly from Giants maps assets. So by having 3 base maps in FS19, nope, 22, and by having 3 base maps in FS25, that's potentially 6 maps worth of assets that modders can make use of with decent textures. We don't need the FS15 or 13 or 11 buildings. We don't need those anymore. We've got plenty of buildings. I mean, I would say FS17 is probably getting there low res too. FS19 we had, well, they had lots of samples for trash, but definitely 22 and 25, right? 6 maps worth of assets. And then if they release Silver Run Forest as a mod map, there we got 7. Seven maps worth of assets to make modders and mappers work so much easier. Because not everybody knows how to do Blender. Not everyone has the talent to make custom buildings. Their custom buildings look nice. Retextured buildings look nice, right? Slap some new paint on that building. You go a long way. Alright, let's see how many pallets we can store on this thing. We're gonna get 8 on here, just 6. Okay, fine. Let's do this the easy way. Holy cow, how many mushrooms are in this greenhouse? Uh-oh. Wrong button. I was really hoping we get more Asian or more Asian map vehicles in the fact sheet. All right, so we have 4, 8, 12 pallets. How much money are we gonna make? Who wants to buy 12,000 liters of mushrooms? The supermarket. That's handy because they're close. What's the best price? It's basically now. It's close enough. Well, we never know, Bosman. We might see it yet. Might see it yet. I think it's just great that they are moving and like not so much acknowledging, but including that global region into their game, right? It's a very global game. We've had other farming style games touch on Asia, so it's nice to see that. And further extend their reach. We'll probably do launch party races with Tuk Tuk. I can see us getting in trouble. All right, we have 55,633 buckaroos. I remember we have at least 2.5 more loads. I mean, go for it. Right? You might be the only creator for a while that knows what the heck they're doing for that market. Alright, so that was 9,800 for 4 pallets. Yeah, it definitely seems unlikely, right? Farmer G, you got to hear Rockhound's comments on the ATS stream last night. Sounds like he's looking forward to Friday. We're going to be paying off that loan. There we go. Look at that. 17,000, almost 18,000 plus another 9, close to 10. $28,000. For a load of fungus. Yeah, Rockhound came into possession of Wreckfest. We'll leave it at that. So I gave him a heads up on our format. And said, just the general advice would be, get somewhat familiar with the tracks. It sounds like Jolly might be making a return soon. So what are y'all's thoughts on multiple maps dropping on a given day? I was telling Giants that I thought it didn't really give the map makers a fair shake. Because I feel like whenever you have multiple maps drop on any one given day, only a few actually get any real good looks. And there can be some very, very nice maps that really get overlooked because of the fact that there were so many that dropped on that given day. Oops, wrong button again. Yeah, just going off of general views, it seems like if two maps drop on a given day, one will get far more views than the other. If more than two maps drop on a given day, again, one or two will get far more views than the others. And some of that might be the YouTube algorithm just not liking when, you know, somebody puts out more than one video in a 24-hour period. But do I cater to the algorithm, or do I try to get the maps out to get you all the information that you may be looking for? And I'm probably going to err on the side of you than me. Ellie, I saw that. I saw that he has a director's edition, director's cut, if you will, of Hof Bergmann. It looks like it only adds a little bit. I didn't look to see if it released over the weekend. Because honestly, after doing 5 maps on one night, I was a little tired of Farm Sim for several days. Yeah, I mentioned, I was like, you know, I feel if you've got a bunch of maps queued up for release, trickle them out one a day. And that'll give each map a fair shake at getting looked at. If you drop 40 mods in one day and there's three trailer mods, well, in my view, a trailer is a trailer is a trailer. One trailer is no better than another. Or you get five buildings to drop, a bunch of sheds, right? I don't know. Do people actually download every single one of them and try out literally every single one of them? Well, and to that end, Farmer G, I think I made it, even said something like that in one of the recent videos was, have people just kind of checked out? I'm waiting on FS25 at this point, playing other games. While they wait on the release, right? They know they're going to be busy playing Farm Sim come November 12th. So time to work through some of that backlog. And when you go, you know, when you might go 3 days with no mod drops, couldn't you have maybe just trickled out 10 or 15 each day? Especially if you know from a QA standpoint that you're going to be spending, maybe you spend the front half of the week testing mods, you spend the back half of the week testing FS25. Well, I know they can schedule mod drops. So why not schedule up 10, 15 a day? For the back half of the week, as opposed to trying to dump 30 or 40 on, let's say, Monday and Tuesday, or more like Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, I don't know what's going on. Chat's telling me it's disconnecting and reconnecting. Midwest Farmer. Hey, now you're here. This video is brought to you by Alex and Midwest Farmer. Thank you for being farm barons. Yeah, I'm seeing chat connect and disconnect. I don't know if hitting refresh will help. I'm gonna hit refresh to see what happens. Uh-oh, something went wrong now. I got the mucky. I got mucky in chat, in the chat window. I think YouTube's got some chat bugs. And I think we'll be able to buy the compost facility by year's end if we keep raising mushrooms. All right. How many more? Yak shroom. They're making me big money. Before I got 7 more pallets of mushrooms. We're gonna come back in another loot. $28, well, basically 30, 60, 90. We're probably gonna make about 100 grand on the mushrooms. It only loads one level of pallet. Farmer G. So I can load 6 pallets, and then it won't load anymore. Midwest Farmer, did you get your streaming thing figured out? Honestly, I forgot. I forgot to do it until you got here. And then I saw you in chat and I'm like, oh wait. I'm an old man, I forget things. Delilah, what's up? I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well. I just would like it to stop raining. I'm about done with rain. I feel like it's been raining here for 2 weeks. All right, well, let me show you my settings. Once I get this starting to sell, because this will take a little bit of time. Alright, display. Alright, oh, look at that. Alright, here's my OBS. Okay. Settings. Stream, right? So you got your YouTube RTMS, your primary ingest server, secondary ingest server are going to be automatic there. Stream key, you click on that, you slam your stream key in there, you're good to go. Output, streaming. I do constant bit rate. Now I've got fat internet. I can upload a gigabit, so I'm streaming at 12 megabit. Like I said in Discord, run a speed test, see what your upload speeds are. If you've got com crap and your upload might be 12 megabit, don't stream 12 megabit. That's what this is. Stream like 8 because you want to have some headroom. The rest of these I wouldn't really mess with. I'm doing in the AV1. You're probably going to do H.264. If you've got an NVIDIA card, then do the NVIDIA H.264 for your video encoder. That's assuming your graphics card has the headroom to both play the game and do the stream encoding. Audio, just leave it. Video, your base resolution, your output, set it to the same. If you play 1080p, have a 1080p base and output 1080p. I play 1440, so I'm outputting 1440. People can change their resolutions on the fly on YouTube. And that should pretty much get you going, quite honestly. Make sure you've got your preview, and if you see it in the preview, then that's what you should be sending out to the internet. A lot of it is somewhat trial and error. Trying to find a good happy medium for your specific setup and for your connection. If you stream 1080p, you probably don't need to stream anything better than 10 megabit. 8 megabits, 6 megabits probably fine for 1080p. The higher megabit rate, just the less artifacts you get when you have fast movement, right? It doesn't get all blocky. If you see streams where someone running like this and it gets real blocky, then that's because their bit rate is a little bit too low for the amount of information that's changing on the screen. I'm also streaming at 60 FPS. And that's obviously what we're playing here. FARMER-G, yeah, I'm still using AV1. I changed over to AV1 just to try it out. I used to stream H.264 at 15 megabit because, again, I can upload a gig. 15 megabits, nothing. There's been times where I've streamed and uploaded YouTube videos and had Premiere encoding a video at the same time. Now that's pushing it a bit, but there's been times where I've been still encoding a video and I've gone ahead and started a stream, and it affects the frame rate a little bit, but not too terrible. So that's where if you have a bunch of cores and a bunch of bandwidth headroom, you downgraded your internet speed. Well, I mean, if you're not needing it. See, I can only load those. And any more pallets, it just it says nope, not enough room. Okay, let's go. I bet we made more than $100,000. And if we have, we're going to go and pay back a big hunk of our loan, because we had to take out a big loan by the brewery. Ah, yes. That is why on my OBS I've got the audio mixer up there right front and center. And every so often I'll glance over there and just make sure the audio levels are still bouncing around as I say something, or as I'm in game, right, that the game audio is there. You're not the first, you definitely won't be the last. Oh, I think you got enough oompa to do a 4K stream. I mean, I could do a 4K stream. It would be upscale. But honestly, that's what every video I upload is an upscaled 4K video. If you push the bit rates, right? Now, I don't know what what's your uploaded internet? I don't know what the recommended upload bitrate is for 4K. Well, that's where either you do a time lapse to music, or you just do some voiceovers. I'm not good at doing voiceovers on gameplay. Now, I've come to realize that there are some creators I watch for other games where they just record gameplay and then they come through later and edit it and then do their voiceover, and it works really great for them. I don't think I have the mental capabilities of doing that. Okay, so 150, you'd probably be good at 20 megabit. That's probably where I would start with 4K. We're over 100K because we started this at $58,000. All right. We have a $400,000 loan, so I can repay another 100K off of that. Oops. And get it to $300,000 loan. I mean, if I get $100,000 each month from mushrooms, I don't need to make moonshine. I thought moonshine was going to make my fortune. Your phone is such, honestly, you're not, I would be surprised if you're actually getting 1080 on your phone. It wouldn't surprise me if your phone's actually getting something lower than that. I would watch it on a PC and see how it looks. I mean, like work. This has been a few years. But there for a while, it was like, oh well, if we stop offering cable TV service, then we might have to spend some of that money to increase our internet bandwidth to support everyone's streaming that content as opposed to just watching it on the wire, right, on cable. But the reality is, most of these kids these days are watching this content on low-res screens. iPads, tablets of other sorts, or phones. Now, there are exceptions to the rules. There always are going to be. But the vast majority of the content that these students are consuming are on what I call low-res devices, because the bit rate is just so compressed for those size screens. And it looks great, but the bit rate is a lot lower than it would be on a bigger screen, even at that resolution. Well, we canceled cable. The next year, there was no noticeable increase in our bandwidth usage. It had no effect, because the people, one, it turns out the people that want to watch streaming content are going to watch streaming content if cable's available or not. And the vast majority of people are just watching content how they wanted to watch it, which was untethered already. I think you'd be surprised at how low of a screen bitrate you're actually getting there. Alright, that's that. Let's come over here to our brewery. We'll see where we are with this. And then we will move on to the next thing. Alright, our wort has been moved over to... let's open this up. Oh my gosh! It's a miracle. All that doesn't pour out. And we gotta dump in our yeast. And we'll close her up. And now our cast-off wort is being processed into green beer. Oops. Let's turn that on. Let's start this again. Well, Tookie, you're just gonna have to get familiar with things like this. Using the old console commands the old-fashioned way with your fingers. Right? No HUD mode. That's assuming the commands haven't changed. Don't worry, that'll be one of the first videos I plan for. It was the first video I did in 22. Was how to enable dev mode. It must be full. Alright, there we got that going. We got that going. That, alright, now. Oh, let's put in our hops. 10 hops per per load. This is done cooking. Yep. All right, so we have 183,000 liters of compost. We will empty that and do something with that later. And as I mentioned earlier, we took out a contract for some barley. So let's go do those. Field 4 and Field 11. They're all fairly close here. Field 11 is right around the corner. We'll start with that one. What are y'all's thoughts? What kind of blog post are we going to see this week? I want to see a blog post on productions. I want to see a blog post on buildable farmhouses. I want to see a blog post on greenhouses. And those 3 new greenhouse crops. Green onions, peppers, and mushrooms. I want to see show me more of the Asian map. I want to see a blog post about floating logs down the river. That's some of what I want to see. What do you want to see? But I'm glad that we now have the Asia map announced, so we don't have to see Riverbend Springs every time. It's getting a little tired of seeing the same old. Oh yes, the Massey we saw at the end of the Hutan Pentai video. I may be completely butchering that name. But that's what we do here. Butcher pronunciation of all kinds of things. I'm gonna be frustrated, Farmer G, not disappointed, frustrated. Frustrated in that I thought I landed on the greatest secret of all time that no one else seems to be speculating on. And it turned out to be absolutely nothing. But if it does come out to be true, And I can just sit back and go, yeah, I've been talking about that since Farm. Well, Tookie, maybe we'll have the Massey in this week's fact sheets. If you haven't gone to the Giants website and taken a look at the games entry for Farming Simulator 25, they've updated with even more brands and even more machines now than they had from the previous week. Now, if you look the end of last week, it's not been updated since then, but if you haven't looked in a week or so, it's definitely worth going to check out. The link, it's you go to Farm Sim website, you click on games. It's that difficult. And then you scroll and you see a whole bunch of brands, and every week they update the brands, and if you click on the brand, you'll see the machines that are coming to the game, or at least a sampling of the machines coming to the game. Maybe we'll get a blog post about talking to people. Talking to NPCs. I sure have alluded to that enough. We should really go this way, so we're not stuck with the pipe end. Let's go try to find our trailer. Oh, it's right here. My inability to put things away must really irk some people. Let's turn it on. So we are on field 11. How are our deer doing? Alright, we're on field at 11. We gotta go to the distillery. So Twitch won't let you stream 4K, won't let anyone stream 4K Or is that limited to a higher level person? About 1080 is the limit right now. Was it a lot that I was seeing talking about knowing people in Asheville? I was seeing some video of there today, and it's just incredible the amount of flooding over there. We've had nothing close to that here. It just won't stop raining. I don't understand what's up. We had rain a good week before the hurricane even made landfall, and it's pretty much rained every day other than Saturday. Saturday was rain free for the most part. I can only imagine how long it's going to take to clean up places like that. The amount of destruction they'll find once the water recedes. Our neighbor, he actually runs a towing business, and him and his father and another guy basically took to the south, went south to help with the cleanup. I guess basically help with towing vehicles, clearing streets, clearing cars that have floated away and ended up who knows where. Well, yeah, Midwest Farmer, there's a classic, well, I don't know how classic it is, but there is a very to the point photo of a flood that happened in West Virginia many years ago. And there was a photo, it's just an awful image. There's a photo of a dead cow that basically was hung up in the support structure under a bridge. Like it floated down the water when the water was basically up to the point where somehow the cow could get stuck under the support structure of the bridge. And then the water receded. at which the cow was stuck up there. And it just to think about that. And that's probably been at least 30 years ago. No, probably 40 years ago. Yeah, Psycho Kid is still raining here in dang Virginia. It would just freaking stop. Now it's the annoying rain of you go outside and it's either misting and you get wet just standing there, but it's not really raining, or it's you know, a steady rain. And then it might be 2 or 3 hours of nothing and then start all over again. The weather apps have completely given up. Radar says it's clear. AccuWeather app says no rain expected for over 60 minutes. And you look outside and it's pouring. Like, really? Because it's raining. I mean, I don't want to show the picture, but I'm sure if you Google West Virginia flood, you'll probably eventually find this picture of this cow under a bridge. Or maybe it's up in a tree or something, I don't know. I saw it as a kid, and it's just something you don't forget. Yeah, livestock's gone. Grain and grain bins. It's September, so you know, they probably weren't too far into harvest, but all the crops and all those fields, total loss. Under feet of water. Alright, here's field 4. Let's hire this guy off. Yeah, we're relatively square on. And let's take this down to the distillery. Where is that at? Is that here? No? Is it there? Alright, right past the grocery. We know where that is. Let's go! This Psycho Kid we've had, my school my kids that didn't go to school yesterday, or well, not yesterday, today, or tomorrow. They blame localized flooding. Nothing like North Carolina, but localized flooding on the streets, and with the rain continuing, I just think they're looking for an excuse to not go to school myself. It's like the teachers will have a holiday weekend, and then they'll come back Monday and they'll be like, "Oh, teacher work day." It's like, you could have had your work day on that holiday, all right? When everyone else in the world works, you could have also. Yeah, I'm in Virginia. We are state buddies. We share the same state. I've been here since 92. I want to see how much barley we get to keep. No, I'm not Canadian. Are you serious? No. I do fraternize with some Canadians on Friday night and Sunday night over on the second channel. I've been to Canada about 32 years ago, maybe 33 years ago, we'll say. Alright, time to be on the spot with the stop. Yeah, Javust. We only have 824 liters. Oh, Farmer G, just wait till the French Canadian makes his return. Then you'll learn a whole new vocabulary. No, bad things have happened here. I feel there's a car somewhere in the mix. Tuki, last night you missed it. I ran into a stoplight. I ran into a stoplight in ATS under a bridge. It stopped me square in my tracks. What's up, Jonathan V? There's our resident French Canadian. Sipper, we've been missing you. No ATS, no Wreckfest. What are we supposed to do? We think you don't like us anymore. The boss, thank you for the sub. The boss. If you're in chat, go ahead and say hey. We'd love to say hey back. I'd probably say hey, how you doing? But hey. Psycho Kid, I stopped watching football a long time ago. Basically my stance on pro ball, the NFL, is that when they stopped standing for the flag, I stopped standing to watch them. I couldn't stand to watch them anymore because they couldn't stand for the flag. So I pretty much can quit things cold turkey, and I just stopped watching football one day and I said, nope, done. Don't care. If you're gonna do things like that. Now, college ball, I used to watch college ball, and back when I had my own homemade DVR, and when I had cable TV, I would record every bowl game and seriously try to watch every bowl game. My college team was Notre Dame, but I haven't watched college football in many years. We gave up cable, and I really don't pay for any subscription services anymore. Honestly, I don't miss TV at all. I don't miss sports at all. So I don't really follow college ball either. You're like the second person that plays Starfield. Schultz was playing Starfield the other day, and I'm like, you're playing Starfield, and he felt like he had to give me an excuse. Well, I gotta get ready for the DLC. It's like, it's pretty bad when you feel like you have to excuse yourself for playing. See, I have zero idea how well the Irish are doing. I have no idea who the national championships team was last year. I assume pro football is going. I assume the season started. When I did watch football, it was the San Francisco 49ers. That was my team of choice. I go way back to Joe Montana days. Joe Montana, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, and many more. Back in college, it was that was back when Steve Young was doing his own 49ers. Oh no, I'm a lot older than that. Steve Young was playing the 49ers in college. Troy Aikman was Dallas, and when I was in college. And I had a buddy who was a big Dallas Cowboys fan. And we'd always say that whenever the 49ers and Dallas would play, that was really the Super Bowl. Because they were hands down the best two teams across both divisions. So whoever won that game, they were going to be the Super Bowl winners. Let's just say that I'll be celebrating my I am celebrating my 28th year of employment at the current place I work. So we won't go beyond that. What's the new? Isn't the DLC just like one mission or something? Isn't it like an abysmal DLC? Or was that something else? Have you done any more Baldur's Gate now that mods are supported? My kids not stop playing it every night or every other night. And in fact, get this. The local YMCA has a D&D night on Tuesday and Thursday, we learned about. So we're going to take him every Tuesday and Thursday to that. Well, his mom calls them up and is basically hearing about this information. And the guy that runs the teen program at the Y apparently had heard about this guy, this kid, who's introduced D&D to a bunch of kids in school. And I went to meet with him earlier today, but he wasn't in, so we gotta meet him tomorrow. But it sounds like this guy wants to basically meet my kid and have him meet the guy that's currently running the D&D program, because he's heard that my kid basically is a DM for other kids in school, and he wants to see if my kid can be the DM for their D&D night, so the other guy can go and do other things. Because when he's doing D&D night, he can't really pay attention to the other teens that are in the building from 5 to 7. So I thought that was a pretty cool deal. So we're gonna take him tomorrow night, the first D&D night, see what it's all about. His mom's gonna try to take him tomorrow to meet the guy at the Y and check out the setup. They got a pretty good deal where they'll bus the kids from school to the Y, and then from the time the school's out until 5, he'll be able to just hang out in the teen area with other kids in middle school and I guess high school, I don't know. And then at 5 o'clock, he'll go do the D&D thing, and I guess I'll have to go pick him up at 7. We're just excited he's going to be able to find a group. All the local groups that we found at this point don't want any kid, regardless of how mentally mature they might be. Farmer G. Yeah, the DLC matches the expectations from the game. I'll tell you, I haven't fired it up since I stopped playing. After that one stream, I was just so frustrated because there was no. The tutorial was only really hitting on like half or maybe a third of the points. Right? And it's like, well, how are you supposed to know this? Well, you're just supposed to have known it. Well, if they didn't tell you, how are you supposed to have known? Well, it's that way with all of their games. Well, okay, so it's only inviting to other players of their titles. So what, I have to go back and play their first games? So I will now be able to play their latest games? Okay, let's look at our barley malt. This is the slowest thing ever. 2,400 cycles. We're only going to make 2,400 units of malt per month. So it's 24,000 in the course of the year. That's 10 months plus another 48. So 24 plus 48. Is 28-ish, 28,000 liters of barley to convert to malt over the course of a year. Yeah, that's slow. But we really don't go through a lot of malt grist. This one is going to the malt factory. Right there, okay. Make your way. I don't know why, but I feel like I have a lot more in that field than I did the other one. What other games between now and Farm Sim's launch are y'all looking forward to, or are you all playing? Anyone still playing Space Trucker? Apparently that was a raving success, at least there for a week or two. Are you doing that on PC or the console? You still have one of them there consoles? Good old boy gamer, what's up? Train Sim World 5. You have both consoles and the PC. Family plays together, stays together. You and Darlene. What do y'all do? Two-player Outlaws? How about two-player Punch-Out? Well. There we go. Let's keep an eye on it. We had 1,800. About the same extra. Javost. Barley to, yeah, okay. I have no idea what that means. I just know they say it a lot. Louisiana. SCS seems to be teasing Louisiana as the next state that they're going to tackle after the next two. So it's the third next state. Interesting, they're completely ignoring those northern states. Instead, it seemed to focus on the southeast expansion. All right, we're gonna go back over to our brewery and get things going there, and we'll probably move into tomorrow. I want to be able to drive around the back of Mount Rushmore. I mean, you know, the four presidents are mooning Canada. All right, and you're done. You're running. You're running. And we have 31 liters of green beer and 6 liters of regular. Collect spent grains. Get everything running. Oh no, I'm letting all my steam out. Because once we get enough beer, we're going to move it over to our bottler. We could buy empty kegs and fill the kegs, but we'll get more money if we bottle it. That's running. That's running. That's running. All of that is running. Okay. Because our bottler is right here. We need pallets. Or we can make little cartons. So we need to go here to our... We need to go to here, and we need to change this to distributing. And then our bottling facility will get our beer. We'll be able to run it through a bottler. And it'll either then get palletized or come out in crates. But when we set up distribution, right there we have our, where we're aging our beer. But when we set up distribution, it goes magically over to here. And then into there. This is spent grains. I want to see if I can dump this in my pig food mixer. I'm pretty sure it's used as pig food. I don't know, maybe I can have drunk chickens. Let's check. Spent grains. Yeah, it's a protein. Nope. Nope. Alright, only for pigs. It only has a protein. So our pig food mixer, potatoes and grain meal. I could also use my spent grain as compost material. Let's go do that. Oh, you know what? What the frick was the same color? Why do I have two of the same color? Y'all are gonna be like, that dude is nowhere even close to the same color. Alright, well, whatever. I thought I could. Oops. Nope, it's not a high dump bucket. What? Alright, fine. I'll show you what we're gonna do. We gotta get our bagger first. This bagger is an add-on mod over at lsfarmingmods.com. It's also where the map came from, if there's anybody watching that isn't aware. And what we're basically going to do is we're going to bag our compost, and then we're going to sell it for good money. But we have to do it in little baggies. Dog, get out of the road. You know, we don't know. We don't know if the dog is making a return in 25. Oh, we have we do have one of these trailers, or a trailer like this coming to 25. Why is it not X? There. I used these a lot in 17. I didn't use them too much in 19. And they seem to kind of just going away. Bag-o-matic. Guess we're either gonna need to do forestry or buy pallets. Because if we ever buy the big recycling center, we'll have a compost palleting set up. This is a modded auger. Came with the map. Kind of wish the base game auger would show your character. Okay, we got that running. Now, I've never done this. I don't know how well this is going to work. Enter vehicle. Sure. Oh, neat. We're standing there. Okay, let's turn this on. Enable bag spawning with E. And then activate bag pusher with X. E, turn it on. Well, I'm glad I didn't have to fill the diesel. What's that say? Oh, I don't know. It's written in a different language. You'd think I would know how this works. Alright, let's go here. It's just these two things. It does support compost. No. I was like, I don't have to buy bags for it, because there should show up in that mod if I do. I'll have to go figure out how that works for next time. I wonder if it has to be connected to this. I did see that. Or they're making it an option. For folks that want even more, well, want more performance, because the 9000s didn't seem to offer a whole huge amount more. It's the same thing. Alright folks, well I'm gonna have to try to figure all this out. And H. No. I want to make a helper do it. And then when we come back later this week or next week, depending on how many maps end up getting dropped, then we'll know how this thing works. I want to thank you all for coming out and watching tonight, and hope you all enjoyed hanging out with me. Move you far away, huh? I don't know. Oh, look at that. Dozer has the answer. Dozer knows what's going on. X. Why does it say wheat? It's not wheat. I have an endless supply of product. All right, until next time, happy farming.